There are many vestibular exercises performed to decrease dizziness. However, if you're suffering from cervicogenic dizziness, these same exercises could make you feel worse instead of better. Welcome to Physio Tips with Marrow, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 6 worst exercises for cervicogenic dizziness. Well, welcome back to another episode of Physio Tips with Marrow. I'm your host, Marrow Burnett. And for those of you that don't know me, I'm a board-certified orthopedic specialist in physical therapy and the owner of Australian Physiotherapy Specialists located here in Jacksonville, Florida. For today's video, we're going to count down the top 6 worst exercises to do if you have cervicogenic dizziness, but maybe you've been prescribed exercises that are more to help a vestibular problem. Vestibular therapy includes exercises that do eye, head, and neck coordinated exercises with balance exercises to help you with your dizziness. The idea is that your dizziness is coming from your vestibular problem or your brain or some interaction between the two. If you have cervicogenic dizziness, that means your dizziness is actually coming from your neck. And to do a lot of the vestibular exercises, the prerequisite is that you kind of already have pretty good neuromuscular control of your neck. So if you've had a neck injury, let's say a car accident, and later you've now developed dizziness, and you've been prescribed these vestibular exercises, not only could this maybe not make you feel really good, it could actually make you feel quite bad. So in this video, we're going to go over 6 of the more popular exercises that I see that could have a bad outcome instead of a good outcome. For my patients, I've had so many that come in, that's why I'm really passionate about this subject, and they'll tell me stories, horror stories, where they've gone to vestibular rehab, they spent thousands of dollars, and they were given exercises where you move your head very quickly and rapidly, and then at the end of it, it made them feel so nauseous and so ill that they had to throw up. Oftentimes they mentioned their therapist would say, hold this bucket, it's going to be normal that you're going to throw up, just keep throwing up and keep doing it. I'm saying with a resounding no, don't do that. If someone's getting you to do exercises that are making you throw up that are that bad, they might not be the right thing for you. So how do we know if you have cervicogenic dizziness? Cervicogenic dizziness is a dizziness that's triggered by pain, usually in the upper neck. Tightness or weakness or dysfunction of C1, C2, and C3 can very easily trigger dizziness or vertigo-like symptoms. If you've had obvious signs of a neck injury or other signs of upper neck pathology, could include headache, TMJ type tightness, nausea. If you're getting these symptoms plus neck pain and you've had dizziness, there's a good chance that some of your dizziness could be triggered from a neck disorder. If that's the case, we have to slow the exercises down so they fit within your stability limits. If we take any exercise outside of your stability limits, we're going to irritate that joint and it's going to cause a really bad headache. So if you're out there and you're in vestibular therapy and you're doing these exercises and you're going, wow, what gives? I have such a horrible headache every time I do these exercises. It could be that you're doing the wrong exercises and it's maybe not giving you quite the response that we want. So let's get into 6 of the worst exercises for cervicogenic dizziness. Number 6, head tilting with central gaze. Let's get into our number 6 worst exercise. Our number 6 worst exercise is going to be head tilt with eyes open, not particularly looking in any one direction, and going side to side. If you have a mild to moderate neck dysfunction, you might get away with this. But if you've had a recent whiplash and your neck's pretty raw and it's pretty easily upset, this side-to-side motion could easily put a lot of pressure on your facet joints of your neck and stir up your dizziness, your headache, could even create nausea. So if you were trying an exercise like this, definitely you would want to go slow, and you would want to make sure that that's within your comfort zone and within your stability limits. You know it's outside your stability limits if it immediately starts to stir you up. But that is a common exercise is given side to side while either looking focused on an object or maybe not particularly looking at any one object, just going side to side. That's going to be our number 6 worst exercise. Now let's get into the number 5 worst exercise. Number 5, lateral gaze. For our number 5 worst exercise for cervicogenic dizziness, we're going to do lateral gaze with your own arms extended. You look to one side, you turn, you look to the other, and you turn. And you would do this maybe 10 times and build up to 2 or 3 sets of 10. The thing that makes this a bit difficult if you have cervicogenic dizziness or a cervical problem is just the very nature of holding your arm out automatically starts to put stress into your neck. So it would be much better if you wanted to try an exercise like this to have 2 fixed objects to look at in turn. Again, if you have a mild to moderate case, you might be able to get away with this at the right time. Many times with my patients, I bring in the rotation exercises after we've done some exercises to get their neck doing a little bit better. It takes more neuromuscular control to do rotation than it does to do postural type exercises. So that's coming in at number 5, lateral gaze with your own arms extended, putting that pressure on your upper traps and neck. So if you're doing this and then later you notice it's kind of sore through the neck, try fixed objects or maybe just hold on that exercise until we get your neck doing a little bit better. Let's get into the number 4 worst exercise. Number 4, central gaze. Number 4, central gaze with rotation. I'm looking at my thumb. Again, I'm using my hand. Oftentimes, your vestibular therapist might ask you to hold a card or use your hand. Again, if you have poor neuromuscular control of your neck, and especially when they ask you to do it at this speed, just throws your neck into pure chaos, and you'll immediately start to get really dizzy. It could start to give you a bad headache. So for some of my patients, this is a no-go. I have to bring exercises like this in later into the rehab after the neck's doing better. We're going to post in our description at the end of the video, a video that we did if you do have cervicogenic dizziness that have a couple really good exercises that can help. And then maybe later you could circle back to some exercises like that we're showing. But if this is causing you to have problems, making you nauseous, giving you a headache, skip it. You're not ready yet. Go back to the description of our video, check out that video, and maybe give those a try. And then maybe circle back later to some of these exercises. All right, let's get into now the number 3 worst exercise. Number 3, head nodding. The number 3 worst exercise for cervicogenic dizziness is, again, extending your arm, which is going to put that pressure on your neck, and we're going to rapidly go up and down. If you have poor neuromuscular control of your neck, you have a very irritable neck, that could easily start to give you a headache or flare you up. If it's a mild to moderate case, and you can tolerate it, it may do some good with actually helping strengthen your neck because you're moving it up and down. It does exercise some of your neck flexors. But if I'm doing it for my patient, they have a real sensitive neck, I'm gonna, again, not have them extend their arm because that's gonna put pressure on their neck. Look at a fixed object, go up and down at a very slow pace and in a range of motion that they can tolerate. But too much up and down in that position could be pretty irritating, especially if you have what's called a facet joint impingement. The upper neck is pinched to begin with and going up as a trigger. Some of my patients that have cervicogenic dizziness, if they go up at the wrong angle, it can trigger such a bad dizziness that they almost fall back and I have to catch them at times. So be really careful doing this exercise, central gaze with rapid head nodding. And that's why it earned that spot of being in our top 6 worst exercises. All right, let's get into our next worst exercise. Number 2, walking with head rotation. We've made it to our number 2 worst exercise for cervicogenic dizziness. This one's gonna be walking with head rotation. You're walking maybe 10 feet, and while you're doing that, you're rapidly going right to left. Again, for those same reasons that we talked about, that if you don't have good neuromuscular control of your neck, you've had a recent neck injury or have a lot of problems with your neck, that rapid back and forth could easily overwhelm the stability limits of your upper neck and immediately trigger a headache. It could trigger neck pain or pretty severe dizziness. So if you're getting a really bad reaction from that exercise, slow it back down. Again, refer to that video that we have in the description at the end of this video. Try some of those exercises to get your core strength back in your neck, improve your proprioception, and then maybe we could start to do the rotation type exercises later. But already walking, already doing this, triggering this could give you a pretty nasty headache. Now, let's get into the #1 worst exercise for cervicogenic dizziness. Number 1, walking with head diagonals. We've made it to the #1 worst exercise for cervicogenic dizziness. For this one, we're gonna walk, and while you're walking, you're gonna move your head into diagonals. Diagonal positioning of the neck is kind of the position that maximally tightens the facet joint. Oftentimes, if you're going to receive an osteopathic neck manipulation, you move the person into a combination of extension, rotation, and side bend to fully lock out that joint. So if you have a really bad facet impingement in the neck and you're doing these diagonals, that is a fantastic way to trigger a horrible response with headache, dizziness, or nausea. So walking, the idea is you walk maybe 5 or 10 feet while you're doing this diagonal, and then maybe you switch and do the other diagonal. I would say before anyone wanted to attempt this exercise, make sure that you have good range of motion of your neck, make sure that you have good neuromuscular control, and only then would I advise maybe moving forward with this type of exercise. Well, that gives you 6 examples of exercises that are out there that are meant to help with dizziness, but could take you in the wrong direction if your condition has been misdiagnosed as a vestibular problem when indeed you might have a cervicogenic dizziness. Well, thanks for watching today's video. Hope you got something out of it. Don't forget to leave me a comment, let me know what you think, and don't forget to like the video, and you could always subscribe to our channel. It is free, and we're going to try to upload videos a little more frequent. I know that we haven't put a video up in the last month or so with the holidays, but we're going to start uploading videos a little more frequent. Well, thanks for watching, everyone, and we'll see you next time on Physio Tips with Marrow.